All right, it's another episode of the RSL Random Fan Podcast, and today we're going to be talking about the glorious road trip that ended up in 1 point and a lot of consternation. What else are we going to talk about, Brennan?
What the hell is consternation?
And don't date your cousin.
Yes.
I don't know how that came in here, but we talked way too much about dating your cousin and using that as an analogy. So stay
Giving
tuned.
up leg gold or disfortuitous gold?
Disfortuitous, I don't know.
Enchantment under the sea, it's all in there.
But you know what?
We're really using this take? Are you serious right now?
Hope.
The last take was so much better. We're using
hope.
this?
There's hope.
Oh,
there's
man.
hope. Don't worry, there's hope.
There's so much hope.
Hang in there, guys. We're almost ready to turn a corner.
And you're almost ready for this podcast. That's very true.
All right, I'm your host, Brant Goebel, joined by...
Brennan.
Very good. He's been
Goebel.
working on his enunciation and timing. And
I'm Tyler Thomas.
all right, we have two fantastic games to talk about. Oh, wait, we're going to talk about the two RSL games. Never mind. We have two RSL games.
That was 20 seconds into the intro. We already have a grandpa
First
joke.
negative
Grandpa
comment.
jokes.
That's funny.
Grandpa jokes. Grandpa jokes are the best. Hey, so let's talk about the lineup in the game against Austin. Two away games. Diego Luna, when we went to practice, he predicted they were going to win 2 games. Didn't happen. Well, spoiler alert, sorry.
Wow.
Tyler,
starting
gosh.
the whole podcast like that. Hey, guys, stick with us, though, because this will be a fun podcast. If you just started to listen and you're looking for a tiny bit of hope, then stick with us. We got some hope coming, but we also got some problems to address. So hang in there with us.
Oh, there is hope?
Yeah.
Okay, I was feeling bad.
No,
But
I mean, don't be hopeless. We've lost a couple. We're on a losing streak, but there's reasons for hope.
And a couple, 10. But anyway, the starting lineup against Austin.
pessimism.
Ooh. Cabral hasn't missed a minute the entire game. Knock on wood.
The entire game, yeah.
The entire season.
Oh, season.
Guys,
Right back,
kick.
Caliscan, Vera, Glad, and Catranis across the back. You had Ruiz and Ojeda as those mighty pivots. And then we have Marchuk, Gozo, and Luna up there, the trifecta. And Willie Agata up top as our striker, almost, maybe not, extraordinaire.
Well, Willie's got to score, man. And Willie hasn't scored.
Somebody's got to score.
Somebody's got to score.
And then on the bench, Junkas, Staduhar, Hidalgo, Russell, Quinton Palacio, Hezer Khani, Brook, and Piol. So, thoughts on the start of the Austin game? Both these games, RSL has started quick in a lot of their games.
Yeah, and I think we outplayed Austin. Honestly, I think we were better than them. I think we're a better team than them overall. And to go there and get a tie. Oh, sorry. Were we holding on to that? That everyone already knows. All right, we already know. Go there and get a tie isn't bad, but if you looked at the predictions, the Vegas line, the tie was about 20 or 30%, but Austin winning was like 58% or something.
Oh, wow.
So that the prediction was Austin wins, and we scored first, so that was good. But I think we outplayed them too, And since we're here and we're talking about Austin, isn't this their best looking kit of all time? Or do you like that pale green they started off with? I like the stripe, the green on green. I just think it's super cool. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
I do think their first one, though, that first green one.
With the black, green and black,
Yeah,
or
the
the
first-
light green?
Ooh. No, I like the light green. That's the one with the Yeti across, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,000% light green.
Yeah, that was their road jersey.
And it's the best green in Major League Soccer.
Verde?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it's a lot better
other
than
stuff.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Portland green.
Not very
No.
good.
But anyway,
Fair.
we go down to Austin. You got two teams that haven't been scoring goals. When I looked, I was surprised. Austin had 10 goals before going into the game, and RSL had 15.
Yeah, the only team even close to either of us are the Galaxy and St. Louis at 13 and 15. Well, I guess, that's not very many. Hey.
Well, so this first game, what were we expecting? You know, you got Agata who hasn't really converted yet. You got Gozo maintaining that 10 spot again. I mean, that's pretty impressive by itself. And then we also have Ruiz coming in, and hopefully, like, is he going to be an attacking player? You know, instead of a Nelly? Is that going to happen or no? What do you think?
Say again.
Ruiz. So, yeah, I think Ruiz. I don't know where Brant's at. I'm at the podcast with you, though, Brennan. And I think Ruiz.
I'm with the universe.
Over the 2 games.
I'm that boring, huh?
I think over the 2 games, Ruiz showed me that he belongs after Palacio. That's what he showed me. He did some things well, but I think his defensive ability isn't there.
But you got to. I say this exact same thing with Ruiz, though. I mean, Palacio. Both of them, I don't really think are really defensive. Palacio maybe a little bit more, but
yeah,
there's so many.
He's got more grit to him. He's got a little bit more of that.
See, I don't think he does. I think he lacks.
him.
I think he lacks pace because he doesn't track back very well in most of the plays.
Maybe he tracks back depressively. It's like, I can't believe that ball split our line. Oh, and he tracked back with his head down.
Yeah, if you look at the match summary on MLSsoccer.com, there nothing happened until the 58th minute in the game, and it was subs. So the first half, although RSL, man, they had some great opportunities. And at what point do we just say they're just bad? And it's not about missing opportunities. It's not about finishing. It's just the fact that this team is bad.
Really?
This team is not bad.
You think that's where it is?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Is that where we're at? Or
no.
do you guys have so much hope that things are going to turn around? Because it is, I think it's getting to that tipping point where
they start yelling at each other on the field or something?
Yeah, maybe it starts to come apart. The pressure starts to build. But at some point, you just have to realize and Pablo mentioned this, I think it might have been the Austin game or the LA game, that it was the LA game. The expectations, maybe it's time to adjust the expectations. And when we started, I mean, there were people crazy people thinking they were going to win the MLS Cup, and then, smarter people who thinking.
Well, to share my point though,
go ahead.
The Millers are going to definitely save us because you pray about it. And
Oh boy.
one thing I think with that summer transfer window, if we get the immaculate best piece we possibly can, that one piece could give us enough points to stay in the playoffs. And we don't need to be first in the playoffs.
No.
We just got to get in there, right. The rest is foreplay, baby. So,
well, I think they're setting us up to surprise us. Because all the rumors of Ronaldo going to the Galaxy.
yeah.
That's just smoke and mirrors. He's really coming here.
Yep.
No, he's going to go to Al Nasser or Al Hilal. Another one, so that because they qualify for a certain league or whatever, so he can play in the.
Oh, I thought it was
international
Al-Nassr, and then he went to all. Anyway, I don't know. I don't follow.
It's an all.
I'm kind of not following him anymore. He's honestly, before I was more of a Ronaldo fan than Messi, but since Messi came to our league, it totally turned the tables for me, and I vote Messi now over Ronaldo. So. But a couple stats that jumped out to me in this game that I thought were very interesting. RSL 16 shots. Austin 12. So we outshot them.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some shots.
And our shots were actually in good spots. So our expected goals were 2. Solid.
Well,
right?
Gozo pretty much, in like a different world, he had that in the bag. Like Gozo's opportunities in this game, that was supposed to be 1-0, completely different game, and we would have probably had the confidence to keep going.
And that's why when it's okay when Pablo says stuff like, well, we're young. Well, when we're young and exciting like that, I'm down. I'm on board, and I'm okay if we lose a couple games because Gozo and Markchuk and Luna are our attackers, and they'll get it right next time. Kind of an idea, right? If we can lean into that. What were you saying, Mark? About
Markchuk had a great opportunity early in the game where he had Stuver just like dead to rights, and he could have nailed the 5-hole on him. Instead, he chipped it over to Luna, who tried the header of the chest.
Well, see, that's
And
weird
it
you say
hit
that
he
because
hit the defender with it. Yeah,
like in physics, how can he, when the ball's bouncing up and his foot is down here, how can he actually hit it downward to the 5-hole? That doesn't make any sense.
He had all options there.
He had all options. No,
Stuver was kind of
could've
like,
in the moment with the timing, I think that he actually did the right thing. Austin was really good to deflect his pass, and Luna tried to be, an extra foot taller, and he isn't.
yeah, and
it's unfortunate.
I think the announcer said, "Oh, he does the right thing," but I think he did the wrong thing. You're
totally disagree.
you're 1-on-1 with the keeper, and unless somebody's wide open at the other post, that's you. You finish 1-on-1 with the keeper.
I
every
agree
time.
with the older guy.
Well,
I think that's the one where Mark Chuk just has to drill it.
yeah, you either hit it through his legs or hit it low and hard to
Or
either
hit
side.
hit it to his right so that it just kind of deflects back into the box instead of. I think there was a lot of
Or
options.
he could have even chipped him. He could have gone for the chip.
That was the only option he had if he was going to put his foot on the ball, because he had to lift it
because it was bouncing a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah,
it
so
was
he could have
bouncing
lifted
up
it.
when he got
Yeah.
within stride of it.
I thought it looked like
Stuver's
Stuver
tall.
thought he's just like, I'm done.
Yeah, it's like I'm toast, and then he passed it and it hit him. Like it's not like he slid and blocked it. He hit the guy with the cross. You know what I mean? That's two totally different things. It wasn't a lunge towards goal that he had to. No, he just planted his foot and the ball hit him. So
And if he does it,
Bad cross.
If it's a better
bad
cross,
choice.
if it's a better cross, it absolutely misses Diego Luna and hits Agata, who was all alone,
Yeah,
far
on that
post.
back post.
So maybe that's where the youth comes in and say, oh man, they just need to. At some point, they have to watch the film and start to get better. At this point, they're still in the watching film and trying to figure it out where they could have done things differently. And it's starting to pile up, and I just don't know. We'll see if they have patience. 6 of the next 8 games are at home, and if fortunes don't turn, who knows what could happen. I mean,
In six games at home. I mean, and going back to Vancouver, we played them well.
Mm-hmm.
We gave up 3 goals, which sucks and makes it sound like we were horrible, but we played well. You know what I mean? And I think with Anelli out in these 2 games, that showed a bit. And our midfield wasn't quite as smooth as we would like it to be or as it has been. And I think that threw off the young guys. I hate to say that or give them an out or an excuse. But I think I don't know, when you play with certain people, you know the way their pass is coming. You don't have to concentrate on it. You know how it's coming, so you can kind of glance up or still a quick peek over your shoulder to make sure the guy's not coming. You know what I mean? You have more confidence in everything you're doing. So I think the ball was just a little off, a little here, a little there, and we're inches and inches away, but it's a game of inches, right?
yes, it is, Tyler. It
Right,
is
Brennan?
a game of inches. But I think that I'm concerned that I just don't want to. I don't want the season to get away from them. I'm all about the team continuing to play well, play the kids, and sooner or later things are going to fall our way. It has to. But I do like. I would much rather watch them play like this than just kind of say, "Hey, you know what? We suck. We're just going to play defense and try and beat you 1-0." So
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I'm not too bad. And actually, I've been thinking about it. All the seasons, I've been a little more critical, I think, of Pablo.
Have you?
Than most of you guys, and the 2 of you guys.
Yeah.
But this year, I'm a little more Team Pablo.
That's
Really?
good. That's good.
And I think it's because they're playing well. They haven't come apart. And a lot of it is just mental mistakes. But then where are those mental mistakes fixed? And if they aren't addressing them at practice. But I don't know how you get, Ojeda. Ojeda just doesn't get goal signs. I have this proper saying on the goal in Austin. And, he tries to deflect the ball and it goes off for an own goal. Those are the kind of things Ojeda is a veteran. He should he should fight and get to a better position.
Yeah. Should have done better on that, but
I mean, you can't stop every goal.
No, he went up and he blocked it. And if he didn't have his head where his head was, that ball would have just gone over that guy. Because he went to head it and it didn't alter its trajectory. Ojeda being so close to the guy, he could have went. Mwah. That's what deflected it into the goal. It was all by accident. I think he was doing perfect defense.
Yeah, it was really close to really good defense.
Yeah, it was a good
inch or
service, and it was fortunate for them. But I don't think I would knock that on Ojeda in any way. Anyway.
Yeah, and the guys were hustling out to try to get after the cross to not allow them time and space. They didn't give a ton of time and space, but they did give some off that corner, right? So,
And you could talk about the subs too,
Well, we don't have to, though.
because that was one thing that I've seen come up is that Russell came in and maybe it would have been a better game for Pule or someone to give us the release up top, right?
yeah, something.
Because
I don't
they
know.
just kind of let Austin come in and
Oh, we're
Pablo-
talking in the second half, right?
Yeah, the second half of the game. We can talk about. Well, that's where all the action was in the second half of the game. But they just kind of allowed Austin to keep pressing and pressing and pressing. Pablo mentioned it after the game. They had 7 guys in the box and we couldn't handle it. So maybe you should have expected that and maybe made a few different subs. I don't know exactly what they were, but I was excited to see Johnny Russell come in. Had a lovely old school tackle there in the box. I like to see that. I think he could bring some bite and some experience. And he's 35, so you have to find the best place.
But see, that's the thing. He's not going to do like what you said. He's not going to break out and run by everybody to the goal and get that, Anderson Julio style extra, guarantee goal where we get that insurance goal at the end of the game, right? That's not really his game. He's more of the weave and bob and, swoop in kind of thing. But like you said, maybe Pule. But by then we'd already subbed 5 times, right? Because at 58th minute we put in Quinton, Junca, and Palacio.
So all three
I don't like
defensive
that.
moves.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like how he's swapping out the defense. I just want maybe less work rate on Catranis. Because I think this is such a waste. We literally waste every single game 2 subs on the defense, no matter what.
Yeah, like if Vera's not ready to go the full game, give Quinton the game.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And have
If we're
him
playing the kids, play Quinton. I mean, he's not bad. He's really good.
Yeah.
But is there something that Vera's doing that, maybe he wants to give him minutes and doesn't want to send him to the Monarchs? I don't know.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the goal for RSL. It was a lovely goal, and it was the first RSL goal this season off of a set piece.
And did you notice that before that we had probably 5 set pieces? 2 of them were actually good. Mm-hmm. The other 3 were not even close. So I was like, is it coming or is it not? You never know, right? And the other team's getting this precise, like they had 4 or 5 headers in this game. Austin did. They could have scored any of them.
Wasn't there one like in the 4th or 5th minute? They sent it
Oh,
in,
yeah.
and it just
And Sanchez had to lean back. Not Sanchez. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. Their striker. It wasn't Ilya Sanchez. It was the other guy.
Subovic or whatever.
No.
Galahad or whatever.
Anyway, it went off the bar, and it was a
He had
Tyler
to lean
Muller.
back, and that's all he could do. But
And they had several. There was one in the second half where the guy just
Vasquez.
pounded it down into the ground where it should have been a goal. When I think it was Catranis was just standing there, and the guy comes flying in, like he's waiting for the ball, and the guy just comes in and boom, slams it down.
Caliscan was like waiting. He was like setting himself to head it out, and the guy just came charging in front of him.
And that's youth, perhaps. Maybe a more veteran players attacks that ball coming in on defense instead
Or
of
steps
waiting.
in the way of the guy attacking it and lets it play through.
Better spatial awareness or something.
Yeah, it's just those little things that we're hoping will turn. I guess that's where the hope comes from. Is those little things that are going to turn a game around and flip the momentum. Because RSL, not RSL, but Major League Soccer teams, any team, it doesn't take much
to tip the scales.
And if you have some decent players, it's one of the things I love about soccer is that you can be greater than the sum of your parts.
Well said. Wow.
What are
Right?
some of your...
right? So you
Is there
can
a joke in there, Brendan?
No.
You were waiting to...
No,
no. It's just that you can have a club that
it's got so many sayings, man.
if you go down the list of the roster and you compare rosters and you think, man, there's no way we're beating Inter Miami. There's no way we're beating this club if you
yeah.
compare player to player. But if this team plays better and this team, just relies on their superstar who has an off game, the club that has more players working together is going to win.
Yeah.
And that's what I love that about soccer.
Well, yeah, and MLS specifically, any given Saturday, I think we've said that a few times. Is that a good saying for you, Brendan?
Yep. And you get it. Yeah, that's great.
And we just need to find a striker with a nose for goal. So anyway,
Oh, that's the one I
You
hated.
can just nick us a goal every now and then.
Nick a goal and nose for goal. That's been years, man.
so we
Nice
go
throwback.
up 1-0, and then it seemed like RSL invited the
But
pressure.
first of all, that was a great ball by Luna.
It was.
And Agata went like he was going to get it. You know what I mean? And there were 3 or 4 guys that did on that one, and the one before, and the one before, and the one before. So everybody was crashing the box like the service would be there. And I think that's why when it was finally there, they were like, okay, cool, boom. And it was like more clinical in the finish, right?
And that's what they say about him. He has those moments, but he's like, you want somebody to.
He's a goldfish. He'll
Seven-
forget about it.
yeah,
and
seven
then
to-
get the next one.
7 out of 10 times you want him to have the a good result when it's like 1 out of 10 so far, right?
So far, yeah.
He gets in dangerous spots. He hit the post late in the game, or that was LA.
That was LA.
That was LA. So, yeah. So then we talk about their goal.
Wait, but before,
Okay.
Just
let
like-
us know, Tyler.
just
when
like
you,
last
you,
time.
Yeah, you let us know.
One
when
more
we can-
thing before
Okay.
we get to the goal. Bodie Hidalgo subbed in for Willie Aguirre. Just in time. We call him just in time Hidalgo because once he subs in, we're bound to give up a goal. And I love Bodie Hidalgo, but he's kind of cursed lately.
Oh man, he is
Got
so
a curse or something.
Well, you can
we
also-
sub him in and we give up a freaking goal.
They got to know, like players
wasn't
from
his fault, but-
other clubs have got to know that Hidalgo is just not on it this year. Like there's probably just talks going around like, oh, Hidalgo's in, perfect, let's go,
All right,
let's go,
boy.
we're gonna punish him, and it seems to be that whole thing because man, every time he comes on, he changes the game in a bad way, unfortunately, in my opinion. So.
It's too bad. It's too bad it doesn't change it in a good way because it's not like he's making
Also,
horrible mistakes.
He's
but-
coming in for Agata at the end of the game. Like, I hate that kind of a sub. Like, don't put a defensive player in for a striker. Like, just put in, like, for another striker and stay aggressive, and that's how you won the game. But no.
Well, and it unless you practice that a lot, it throws people off because you start being less aggressive on defense, right?
Yep.
You're like, oh, he's got it. Wait, dude, you're in my way now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it throws off the whole vibe of the defense and the way you've been playing the game, the whole game. So anyway,
That's a good point.
it is what it is at this point. But then off a corner and off a second corner, off a third corner,
The
just
thing,
kept coming and coming and coming.
the thing that made me so mad about their goal was it came like 30 seconds after Cabral saved us again.
Oh, yeah,
it
dude.
was just point blank. Sends it over, and I thought, oh yeah, we're gonna get 3 points out of this, and then they just couldn't. It's just been one mental letdown after another. We talked about the goal with Hayden not maybe being in the best spot. Maybe that should have been an own goal because he hits him right on the dome, and in it goes, and there wasn't anything Cabral could do about it.
No.
So
Yeah, and then Diego Rubio just nods it in. Off
Yeah.
they go.
and it's Texas, so I think RSL historically has 2 wins the entire time they've been playing in Texas.
Yeah, and this was in the 93rd minute, and there was, I think, 5 minutes of...
No, 4 minutes.
It was 4,
It was
yeah.
literally 4 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was within a minute or two of the end of the game, which... Anyway.
Deflating again.
Little sad, but we outplayed them, to me. And if you look at the stats, which you don't want to just look at the stats because goals win games, right? But, like...
Stupid saying.
Because we... Sorry, I'll quit saying stupid sayings.
No, you won't.
But because we let them possess the ball a bit in the second half, they ended up with more possession than us. But when we had possession, we were very purposeful with it. It felt like we had 16 shots. Obviously, a few more of those could be on goal. Couple blocks. We had good passes. Our passing accuracy was 84%. That usually spells a win for RSL once we're above 85. Right around that range, we do well. We had 6 corners. We didn't just cross the ball, right? We know when we have excessive corners over crosses. If we have over about 10, we're just lobbing and hoping, right? We had 8, so
you get up to 15, and you know that RSL is
struggling.
Didn't have any clue. They were just like,
yeah. And the expected goals were 2.4 for Austin and 2 for us, which I think Cabral made up for that.
Oh, multiple times, yeah.
Yeah, he had a couple of killer saves, and that kept us in the game. But 14 clearances, which means they were coming at us a lot.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of that late.
Yeah. Even on the fouls, 13-13 and 2-1 for yellow cards. I think the ref did a good job of staying out of the game by and large.
Well, Galahad was getting really chippy at the end of that game.
And he probably should have got a yellow.
Yeah. That was the only thing I disagreed with. But it's so close to being just this nice little... It's like it's one goal is going to change the entire season for this team because of how they're playing so well. The only thing that they suck at is when they have to wait for something. You know what I mean?
I think they suck
just
at
like,
it. It's the
like
important
kids,
part.
Yeah.
Right?
Just, when they
it's
have
like
to
the
wait
whole
for
marshmallow test, right? Hey,
You
if you hold on, I'll give you another marshmallow. No, I'll just eat this one.
Yeah, man. Gosh, dude. I hate when it's like extra time and we're in a set piece and I'm like, dang.
Yeah, it's just
fair
it's just in the box. That's all. That's just everywhere else is great, but in the box on offense, and defense. But other than that,
Their hair gel's great because their hair stays the same the whole game. So that's
their
also great.
pregame fit on fleek. Did they say that?
They never did. I think it was a Disney Channel thing.
So, all right, they give up 3 points and give away 2 more points, and we draw 1-1 in Austin. But if you had said before the game, would you take a draw in Texas? Heck yeah.
Yep, even at Austin. Yep. So, and they're ahead of us in the standings.
And they were before. They were before the game too. So
they're still ahead of us. Yes.
We should send out like a fruit basket to St. Louis. Although St. Louis fired their coach, got a new coach, and the Galaxy somehow won a game, so they're probably anyway. Yeah, so let's get to halftime.
When you do a joke, do it all the way. Okay, sorry. Halftime.
That's what she said.
All right, so halftime.
It's a little bit better.
Jason Christ dropped a little bomb on the air the other day on the radio with Spence Checketts.
Really? What did
you hear the interview?
No,
Brent?
Oh,
Brent heard the interview.
I heard about the interview.
Oh, I listened to the whole thing. Yeah.
Spicy.
So he said basically Brant's joke, which I thought was great. So I don't know if Spence Checketts is listening, but if you are, bro, feel free to shout out the random fans. Feel free, bro. Just go ahead and let it rip. I got this one from the RSL Random Fan podcast. Anyway, he said, is it fair to say that Diogo Gonçalves has been a disappointment this year, would you say? And Christ was like, yeah, I think that's fair to say. I think he's disappointed in himself. I think he's disappointed in the team. He's disappointed in da-da-da.
What a professional
and then
way
he's
to
like,
put him down.
And we've left him off the traveling squad for this road trip for both these games. And Spence is like, wait, why'd you leave him off? And he's like, for disciplinary reasons. He said, what did he say? Unbecoming of a RSL player or something. So he must have, I don't know if he had a dust up at practice or something, or was just loafing it, or was pulled the Jamie Tart and just like, we're talking about practice? Practice! Not the game!
That's Allen Iverson.
I know, but it was also Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
So,
It's true.
Yeah.
We did talk to somebody, and they brought that up, and
Who's that?
I don't know.
Jake Hatch.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh,
You know, tease it.
I was gonna say we shouldn't tease it, but
Tease it.
hasn't come out yet.
It hasn't come out, but it will
tease
come
it.
out.
Yeah.
We interviewed Jake Hatch, and that was he was giving us all the inside
on all the and
deets on all of.
he's got this weird obsession with cougars. Like
Yeah.
he got pictures of them all over the place. It's
Okay,
really
but,
weird.
But remind everybody who Jay Catch is, just in case they don't.
He's locked on cougars.
Locked On Sports.
And he's also a radio guy too. But
He's the producer for DJ and PK in the morning. We've talked to DJ a couple of times. He's a great guy. PK not so much because he doesn't like soccer. He's more of a baseball guy. And he's the Jay Catch is the producer on that show and a convert to soccer. So we had a great interview with that. Stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out. But he was talking about he added a little bit more. He's a little bit closer. You know, his job is sports, and he's a little tighter with the team. He does the pre and post game with RSL, and
Jay and Nolly.
he was a little bit more on the Diogo stuff. It was, I think he talked about it was like Diogo came back from the injury and then just wasn't putting out in practice, and so they're just like they just kind of like put the hammer
Not
down.
putting out, huh?
You know, they've been giving him space. He's got tons of talent, but no
Got
drive.
a lot of money. But
No
the
drive.
drive is not there.
He doesn't want to be here, so but yeah, stay tuned for that. We'll get
Doesn't
that.
want to be here?
I don't think he does. If you just look at him, I don't think he wants to be with Real.
Oh, okay. You're just judging based on his demeanor.
the universe,
body language.
Yeah, the universe.
Okay, Pablo Mastroeni.
Yeah, just looking at him, you can tell.
The Cosmos are setting up for him to move somewhere.
Yes.
It's like he's like Johnny Menendez. It's like these guys are mean.
That center back kicked me.
Coach, he pushed me.
That's so crazy. I never saw Johnny Menendez play. Did you know that?
Really?
Nobody
Yeah,
did.
I started.
Oh, come on, man.
I literally got back into RSL the moment we started this podcast. So like from that 4 years back, I have known nothing about RSL.
Yeah, and
Good.
that
That's probably good.
he had flashes the year before, and we signed him late in the window. And I thought, okay, with a preseason, this kid's gonna come on. He's gonna destroy people, you know. And he absolutely did not do that.
Did he score?
I don't know.
He might have got a goal or two.
but he played a lot, and every time he'd get close to somebody, he'd bump into him and fall down, and the refs were like,
Get up.
"Play on."
A lot like Diogo. I think it was that home game where he got bodied off the ball, and he just went out of bounds. He didn't fight for the ball.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We don't like it when people push us around, especially teams from LA or, you know, glamorous areas of the country.
So any orange slices, remember if you see us at the game, we should have orange slices. And if you tell us a really good reason why.
Or a good joke.
Good joke. Yeah. It's like, hey, I did the dishes or, you know, I mowed the lawn or something that you
Or
feel like.
how many RSL defenders does it take to screw in a light bulb? And then have a good punchline. 'Cause I don't have one.
Yeah.
I was waiting for one. I was like,
I
how you
didn't
doing
think
that?
you did work. Yeah, I'll leave that one alone. But so yeah, tell us why you deserve an orange slice, and we'll get you one. And then all of your friends at work will be jealous.
Absolutely. But let's get into the orange slices of Austin. I'm going to say Cabral because I know you were going to. That guy just, I don't know, dude. You can go to Vegas and always bet on him and you'll make money. Just a fantastic
And see, I
goalkeeper.
want to say Agata because he finally got his goal. And I want to say Luna because he played him the ball.
I was going to do a reverse orange slice on Luna.
Fair, because at the end of the game, that last play where he had Gozo, and Gozo
That's
is
the one I'm
faster
talking
than
about.
everybody on the field. Play that ball out in front of him and let him run onto it, and he kind of mishit it, and then it took him a minute. It took him too long to recover. It was just it ended up being a really bad choice, and he tried to take it himself.
He had no. I watching it. Brendan may agree with this, maybe not.
No.
But Diego Luna had no desire to pass that ball.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So
a little
you-
bit selfish there at the end.
You cannot say that he didn't have control over the ball.
He's Diego Luna.
No.
No,
When you
he
watched
could've-
it,
he still could have played the ball.
no, he
through
had
either way.
control, and he looked up, and he chose not
Not to
to.
pass
He
it.
has
I
nothing to do
agree
with
with that.
fumble his feet. He saw Gozo completely open. If he shoots his forward ball, Gozo's got
And then
both
it's just
of
a
them.
race. Make it simple.
It's a
Give it
Anderson
to the
Julio
kid.
play.
Yeah.
Anderson Julio all over again.
Yeah, play him through.
And that was when I was like, oh my gosh, this is when the fame is getting to Diego Luna. Like in my head, I'm like, okay, if I'm Diego Luna, my story, all that, I'm mirroring him. If I start to get fame, yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of an ego, and it is going to naturally bleed into those moments that are really crucial. And you saw it because there's no way.
Yeah, you know who else doesn't make that pass? Ronaldo. You know who does make that pass? Messi.
No. But I lost my point. Well,
No, but I agree with you, man. Like if he's like, I gotta win this game for us. This is on me. There's 2 defenders, 2-on-2, and he sees he's in a better spot. Play him the ball. You still get 2 assists.
I think he was trying to set up a pass to give to him. Because when he cuts back, I think he's looking to shoot the ball back to Gozo to drop that center back
offside.
and then have Luna swing in and shoot it from the right like he normally does.
Right.
I think that's what he was thinking in his head, and that's just stupid.
Yeah, and it ended up just being a shank over the goal. And then he looked at the ref like the ref was supposed to bail him out. And I'm like,
yeah, what was that
don't
late
be that
challenge
guy.
on him, though? Because he shoots, and then all of a sudden he's flailing.
Well, the guy kind of...
Yeah, it was just a hair too late. I don't understand.
Yeah, so I can't pick any of those guys. But I'm going to go with Gozo because he was strong. He was energetic. He was getting after it the whole game. He didn't slow down. He played the full 90. He was available and making a great run at the end of the game with the game on the line and should have been played the ball and wasn't. And, you can't score goals you don't, get the ball for, as Wayne Gretzky used to say. Stupid. That's a horrible quote of Wayne Gretzky. You miss all the shots you can't take, right? You don't take. That's what Wayne
Michael
Gretzky
Jordan.
said. No, it's not. He stole it from Wayne Gretzky, dude.
It's Michael Jordan.
No, he stole it from Gretzky. Gretzky said it first.
Yeah, so there were
How
a
do we have
few
fans, man? Dude, seriously, we're not that funny, are we?
I think you guys are funny.
Well, that's the problem.
But looks,
I wouldn't be doing this podcast with you.
yeah, we're so funny, but looks aren't everything.
That's true.
I'll give kind of let's see who deserves it. I'm gonna give it to Mark Chuk. I thought Mark Chuk, he's come around. I think he's
Got that one time with his left foot on corner of the 18. That was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Mark Chuk. I think he's stepped up his game with Gozo coming in. I think he was kind of worried, like, oh man, I got injured. I Wally pipped it, and Gozo come in and
What was Gozo's yellow card in this game?
Oh, he just clocked somebody.
Oh.
Yeah. Ball was gone. He just kind of was late getting there and was like, oh, yep.
And so I think Mark Chuk has stepped it up, and I want to see Mark Chuk, Gozo, and Luna there the rest of the season.
Really?
But we're going to have international call-ups. We already do,
Yeah.
so that's not going to happen. Probably all 3 of them will be gone, and we'll get
Yeah, I was
Tyler
gonna say,
Wolf and
Joel.
the Australian brothers.
Watch it work.
And then
Watch
they'll win
Lachlan.
3 games in a row.
Dude, yeah, seriously.
That'd be awesome.
Lachlan, Piol, all them, they just come in and just light it up.
And Agata. Yeah, just like no care.
It's like 6-0 or something in a
That's
game.
what happened with Tyler Wolf when he went to the Monarchs last week. He ended up with 4. He had a goal and 3 assists.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah, tearing it up at the Monarchs. Good job, T. Wolf.
All right, anything else at halftime? We got rid of our orange slices. We'll jump into the next game, whether we have to or not, we want to or not. So RSL goes down to LA, and I think too many people just kind of put it out in the universe that the Galaxy were going to get their first win against Real Salt Lake. It just, couldn't have happened to a better team than RSL.
The funny thing is the pregame odds were 60%. It was actually more in favor of LA than it was in Austin.
Wow.
Weird, huh?
Yeah,
Maybe that was just a betting line.
The universe.
The flip a coin too many times in 16 streak is the probabilities are that it'll flip back. You got to get heads sometime.
Yep. So the starting lineup in LA was Cabral, Caliscan, Quentin in for Justin Glad because Justin Glad got a little bit of a concussion at the very end of.
A little bit.
Oh, I
Did he
didn't
have a
even see
little
that.
bit of a concussion?
What happened?
He, I think he was sliding and somebody landed on him or he bonked his head.
Like a knee or something?
Yeah, like right as Luna took off with the ball, he kind of got
Oh.
in the
Oh, yeah,
back.
when they were
and-
going.
Yeah, and then they called the game. So
It was literally at the end.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then Vera Junca got the start over Catranis, and then Palacio with the start instead of Ruiz, and Ojeda as the pivots. Mark II, Gozo, Luna, and Agata up top. And on the bench, Studahar, Ruiz, Hidalgo, Russell, Wolf, Catranis, Arcani, Brook, and Piol. So this game, thoughts?
So, I hate to go back to the stats and say we played well again, but we did. I hate it. Okay, so they scored in the 17th minute, right? And up until that point, we were playing well. We were spraying the ball around. We were attacking. Gozo got in behind right off the bat and probably should have scored. It's like, I don't know if you've done this playing before, but like you break in on goal and then you're like, oh crap, I'm here. It just, and then you're like, oh, I got to outrun everybody. Oh, I outran everybody. The keeper's 2 feet away now. I'm too late. And you never really did anything. And I think that's kind of what happened to him on this play. He blew by everybody. He went in and then he was like, I forgot what I was going to do. And then he just kicked it right at him.
Well, as a young player, I think there's just too many options. He's running through all the options. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I lift it? And I think with more experience, an experienced player is going to go in there. I'm one-on-one. I'm going to lift it up and over. And
I don't know about that. I don't know. That's kind of a stretch because, Cordoba was a seasoned player, and that dude couldn't score either.
But do you know what Xavier Gozo's middle name is?
I do.
What is it?
It's his dad's favorite player.
Didier.
Didier Drogba?
Yeah.
Really?
That's his middle name.
That's what I was looking for on this breakaway. I was looking for, where's the DDA, where he does the step over.
Oh, dude, if he gets his hair, dude, he would look so cool.
Drop the shoulder. Like, where's the flair? Like, have that cockiness in front of goal like Drogba did. Be that guy that's going to be like, the goalie might run into me, but I'm going to nail him and then finish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, have that, like, killer mentality. Well, because his dad's from the Ivory Coast, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the...
I love how your tone changes so quick too. It's really fun.
Well, I'm talking about his family.
West Side.
Be respectful. And, I grew up on the West Side, so love that guy. But also, like, get in there and finish that friggin' breakaway, right? And so, I don't love the way it played out, but what do you do? You're a young kid. Get the next one.
Yeah. I think he's going to remember that, and the next time. Whatever choice he makes, he's going to commit and do it and strike it and not try to. Although one thing with Gozo, what I like about it is he keeps the ball on the ground a lot.
Yeah,
He wants to get it on frame, so I appreciate that. And then I was just going to talk about dumb jokes. I talk about RSL and how they're playing right now. It's kind of like if you ask somebody, like, did they go to the prom? And you said, I went to all the proms. But he went with his cousin. No? All right, we'll cut that out. That's terrible.
What? Okay, hold
prom
on.
jokes.
What?
Well, I'm trying to.
No.
I'm trying to.
How does that even connect what you were talking about?
What would be something that you would be really proud of, but then when somebody finds out, it's just like.
So you're gonna be internally, without anybody knowing, you're gonna be really proud that you went to every single prom with your cousin.
Well, that's what they say. They say, hey, I went to the prom.
So
I
you'd
went to all
be
the proms.
proud. You'd be like, I had such a great time.
But your cousin has to go with you, right?
Yeah.
So
they
it's
can't say no.
It's kind of like being good in between the boxes and not being able to finish inside the box, defense and offense.
For prom, you do though.
Not with your cousin.
Not with your cousin.
Wow, that got way off. All right, so back to soccer.
That's all coming out.
So Quentin was in a really good position.
That one, man. That's a good one.
Quentin was in a really good position here, and the ball came through, and his foot was in a good spot, and it just unlucky. Was it Nascimento, which means birth, by the way, in Portuguese. The guy's name is Mario Birth, whatever. So
Birth.
just made me want to vomit when I saw him get the assist. But whatever.
Actually, birth.
Anyway, so
And his brother placenta.
no, he was the guy that had the hockey assist. placenta over to Nacimiento.
Because my eyes are a little bit like dry right now. It looks like that says placenta. So that's how I was like, no way.
Oh, parente. Yeah.
My eye drops.
Anyway, so you think Quentin gets spun, but when you watch the replay, Quentin put his foot there and it deflected and played him through.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why Quentin didn't react well because he thought he had it. Just like,
Well, they're same goals, Both the goals were exactly like that. We thought we had it defensively, and then they get a lucky bounce and they get around.
And then his cousin showed up.
And his cousin
showed up
and he said, "Don't tell anybody."
and he just finished it off.
In the box.
And it was on, and LA had.
I tried to. I'm not gonna let you.
You're not gonna be able to. We're not cutting it.
Yeah, so
It was Enchantment Under the Sea.
Enchantment Under the Sea dance. But you're my mom. But you're my mom.
You're taking your mom to prom, dude.
That's what he did on Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh,
That's what
Enchantment
he's
Under the Sea.
referencing is the Enchantment Under the Sea dance from Back to the Future. Anyway, so at halftime they subbed.
At halftime, they
I
said.
think we need to talk about the goal because I think it's another thing where the runner, Nelson, comes plowing through the box. Palacio and Ojeda could have.
There was a huge
see,
gap.
I
You could have
hate it when we
driven a
talk about
truck
that.
right through there.
Yeah, but you think about it. They all had marks. They all like
No,
it was.
they-
It was
I
in
don't
the
think
thing
they
of the
did.
game. Like it was. It was in the game. Okay?
No, and when that happens, it like there was a huge gap between the outside back and the inside back. Quentin should have been further out, but he was guarding the player, and the player drug him in, and then came out and slid it in, and that's how it got in there, guys. There's way too many references there.
You just dug your own hole on that one.
It's just another case where a little better, a little more veteran play. Someone picks that runner up and maybe makes it a little more difficult than just kind of walking in and tapping it into goal.
Yeah, Vera should have slid. Ojeda or Nelson should have followed him into the box. Either way, neither one did, and he was basically wide open there, and he was hung out to dry. Cabral was. There's no way he's getting that, and because he had to come out, and because Quentin got spun, essentially, even though it deflected off him. So they subbed at halftime.
All right, halftime. It's halftime.
What do you think of those purple kits, though? I mean, there's kind of that purpley bluish kind of color with the yellow on it. It didn't seem very Galaxy-esque at first to me, but then after a bit, I was like, I kind of dig that jersey color. It's kind
I
of
liked
that
it.
blue-purple,
Yeah, it was pretty good.
bright yellow on it. And I'm
It was
like,
kind of like the LAFC's version. Just no gold. It's purple.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then RSL come out after halftime, and RSL was pumped up. They talked about it on the broadcast. Pablo must have said something in the locker room because RSL came out fired up, and then they get beat on a counter.
And to be fair, both Peck and Paintsel, the bro peas or whatever they call them.
Killer peas.
No, because you have to have Peck to be the killer peas, right? Because you have to have Peck, Pooj, and Paintsel, right? So there's three of them. When it's just two of them, they're called the pea bros or the bro peas. Bro peas? Is that like a workout you do in the
I
morning?
think they mentioned killer peas, but you can keep trying, Tyler.
I think you have to have all three to
sometimes
make it the killer peas. You can't just have two of them. It's like a duo when it's supposed to be a trio.
Yeah, I think.
Anyway.
Yeah, we need to work on our jokes this episode. It's been
So,
apologies.
Paintsel,
None of us get a orange slash for jokes today.
Good.
Paintsel spins, Caliskin, who's a decent right back.
And there were a couple of times before
Just
the
trying to follow
the-
here.
I can't remember who was taking it through the middle before they found Paintsel. There were a couple of times where professional foul might have some. They
Slowed the
tried,
game
but they
down,
didn't.
or-
We don't have that veteran that's going to take that at the moment. But it turns out he got out to Paintsel and he roars down the left side. And Caliscan, who had already picked his pocket like the play before,
Yeah. He knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to cut back. He waited for it, and then he went to take it, and he took it, and then he kicked it into his own leg, and it bounced right back into him. And it's basically what happened on the first goal is a lucky deflection back into his space, and it was bouncing, and boy, he put that in the corner. Like, I mean, like if we're saying that, like that was a good goal, like a finish. Yeah, not his best like setup, but what an amazing finish. No keepers touching that. Like that was a killer.
Yeah, and unlike RSL, it doesn't even come close to the post. Because Agata had the late one where it's the post, but wouldn't have mattered. You know, it was stoppage time.
Yeah, 2-1's better than 2-0.
Yeah.
But again, in this one, you know, good play. We had good play across the field. I mean, the mistakes were things that were just super unlucky. And I hate to say that because this team was the last place team in MLS. But like you said, even if we're playing the best team, which was Vancouver, we forgot to talk about the Champions League in Vancouver.
Oh, we'll get there.
What's happening with that?
They got Inter Milan. You saw that Champions League where Inter Milan got 5 put on them by PSG for the Champions League championship.
Yeah, that was fun.
Same thing happened. Cruz Azul took it to him 5-0.
Ooh, Deportivo.
La Máquina
Celeste. So anyway, back to this game.
We lost 2-0. Galaxy.
That was your insight back to this game?
Yeah, Galaxy. we gave them their first win of the season. Hooray! Once again, we're still pissed off as a fan. Players, they still have it. They're still capable of doing it. Johnny Russell looks like, hey, he was actually not a bad choice to sub in. And it's just another game where we are so close to greatness.
The only thing about this game I didn't love was Pablo Ruiz. I think he was not sharp. He wasn't great. I think Pablo's trying to build him up because we're probably going to sell Luna in the transfer window, and Pablo's our best next player if we lose our DP.
Oh, I thought they were going to get rid of Pablo and keep Luna.
Well, yeah. There's that possibility, too, because they actually teased that out there as well to Jason Kreis. And Jason Kreis said there has been a bit of a shift in the mentality of our ownership. They want players to stick around. Remember, these are the same people that brought you John Stockton and Karl Malone.
For decades.
For so long. And they become fan favorites and, you know, supreme beings, if you will. You know. Upping into that echelon of reverence for people. They're just good at a sport. But, you know, it makes people want to stick around long term. Like Glad. Glad's been around for a long, long time. He's built his career here. He's played here basically his whole life. And pretty much everybody loves him. There's a few people that are like, Glad out. And clearly Glad's not the problem, right? We're way better with Glad in the lineup than we are with him out of the lineup. I think that's pretty obvious, but every now and then we get some people that are like, we need a better center back, a better striker, and a better goalie. And you're like, do you even watch Real Salt Lake, bro?
Yeah.
Cabral is probably our most consistent player, and then Glad this year has been fantastic, I think.
On defense.
Yeah, and in that order, you know. Cabral's been super solid, and then Glad and for me, and then Luna. But Luna's streaky because he's young, you know?
Well, Luna's been pretty consistent. I think he's come on. We talked about him in the last game getting a little bit, I don't know, big for his britches, or I think it's more him trying to, he feels like nobody else is scoring. I have to do this all by myself. Mm-hmm. And maybe he thinks he can do it all by himself, but nobody else is doing it. He already has 8 goals. He had 8 goals all of last season. And he wants to. His goal is to get 20. He mentioned that in a recent interview after practice. So he's got lofty goals. And one way you're not going to get there is when your team just can't win. That's got to be incredibly frustrating. I don't think they'll sell him. I think if he's smart, he should stick around for another year.
You think so? With his action,
it
in the
depends
US?
on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make the World Cup squad, you
stick
stay
around.
here and you star for Real Salt Lake, and then you get picked on the World Cup team. In my opinion,
I would think long term, because I would think if I can get any opportunity to be at a higher level where when I do play for the U.S. team, I'm more acclimated to that pace or feel, and like I want to be in a bigger league.
So let's say you go to Leeds and you sit on the bench.
I don't want to go to Leeds because I want to go to a good team that has success. So I would go to a different team, maybe in the championship or something like that.
Oh, you'd set your sights a little lower.
Well, not too low. I would go with Wrexham, so that way, by the time you're second year on the team, you're already in the Premier League, and you're in so many movies by then.
Right,
It'd be great.
yeah.
Maybe it's more the Italian league or France
Before
before.
Serie A is probably a good one if you can get into there. Maybe a Milan.
That might be the best step.
do
besides
some
the Premier League.
Pulisic stuff.
But that's the choice you make. That's the risk you take. You can be Andres Gomez and head off to France, Rennes, whatever the name it is, and he's got 3 goals, I think, and hasn't played.
Which is more than me by
Yeah.
3. I don't know if you knew that.
Well, it's 7 more than me. So, but
You have negative goal differential?
yeah,
Just
oh,
ask
absolutely,
Alicia, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, talk to my cousin. So,
Oh, boy. Off the rails.
so any.
But at least you're having fun if you're still here.
Any orange slices against LA?
Yeah. I think I want to give it to Aiden Hazarkani, even though I want to give it to Gozo too. But he subbed in for him, so I think it was just one of these look, let's put him on and let's see if he can do anything. Gozo had 5 or 6 chances.
And I love
Played a good
Gozo
game.
slamming the water bottle down, getting subbed out. Just
Right.
that frustration,
Yeah, I had my chances and I didn't take them, and now here comes Aiden Hazarkani, who's a year younger than him or maybe 2, and just getting after it, right? Getting balls into the box. Wasn't great, but was active and was, maybe he's that next. Him and Owen Anderson, I think, are the next guys up from the Monarchs to the first team. And obviously Hazarkani's a step ahead of him, so get his first, little bit of playing time, and kid has cool hair, and off you go, right, kid? Bring it.
Well, I'm gonna say Cabral because I know you're gonna say
He gave
Cabral.
up 2 goals.
None of which are his fault.
That's fair.
Because if it's not something just quality, real quality, Cabral's got it. He's so big at that, dude, and he reads people so well.
And I'll go with Gozo. Gozo was all over the place. The guy is quick.
He acted like he was a star striker on a different team. Do you know what I mean? He's not this brand new kid. He exudes confidence right now.
I'm so excited for him and Luna to get on the same page.
Oh, dude, if they link
Or
up, man.
Marchuk, 2 of the 3. That's all we need is 2 of those 3 to click, and they're young, so that's why I'm excited. I know we lost this game, and 2-0 sucks, and LA, it sucks to lose to LA. The whole little sibling thing of Salt Lake compared to LA. Everybody wants to go to LA, but if you just take this one game, then you get that kind of vibe. But if you look at the team overall and the development, and you're seeing these young guys develop, these are the guys that have bought into what Pablo's all about. And the guys that are not about what Pablo's all about, they're not in. And I'd much rather see this team lose this way than a bunch of veterans that won't run.
Ooh, that's very true. No, very well said. I would say, though, I am missing the link up we were talking about, Mark Juke, Gozo, and Luna. In my head, I want Berea's chances of getting on the field to start now instead of when they did, because I think Berea is probably that missing piece that where they're going to really turn it around, because he has that ability to stay with where the play is instead of getting so far stretched out like Agata and Piol and all that. I would love to see those top 4.
Did he make the trip? Was he on the bench? He wasn't, right?
No, we haven't seen him in the last
back to
2-3 games.
Last time I was at practice, he was off. Was he in at practice last time?
I thought he was. Hold on. Let me look.
I didn't see him, but anyway,
Just a thought. Sorry.
I thought he was rehabbing something on his foot or something. So
I'll give my orange
Maybe.
slice. I did, like I said, to Gozo. He was just. I love the comparison, and it's it's not fair, and it's probably not incredibly accurate, but they look a lot alike when they're out there, and that's Thierry Henry. Gozo looks like a Thierry Henry. He's probably not as fast, and he's certainly not Thierry Henry, but that's the kind of player he really resembles. He's got long legs. He's tall. He's a presence out there.
yeah, and he gets after it.
Yeah, and he comes back on defense. He comes out of nowhere all the time.
Yeah,
He is committed to playing both ends of the field, and the sky is just the absolute limit with this guy.
yep. That's what makes our team exciting right now. Right, throw Aiden Hauser County in there, and maybe we get a third guy coming up through the academy. Right, like
Yeah, I think that's wishful thinking, but
for
hopefully-
sure. The other thing that I liked about this is I think this game we got better play in the pivots. And I think Ojeda Palacio was a much better pairing than Ruiz. And I love Ruiz. I really do. I think he's fantastic, but he's playing. I mean, last time he played, he got results going forward, but he struggled on defense. And I think the same thing kind of playing out. So I think they're grooming him that if Luna leaves in the transfer, they're going to slide him up. I already said that, but if they do, I'd be much more happy with that. And then it's more of a triangle with those three.
So RSL loses 2-0, 2-0 to LA Galaxy. Their first win of the season almost broke a record of the worst start.
Which we are also like second or something like that.
History.
No, actually, to start a season, the record I think is 16 games without a win, and that's where they were at. So they tied it. RSL holds the record for most consecutive games without a win. It's 18.
Oh my gosh.
But it's over 2 seasons.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And,
no one's going to break that record. It's going to be ours forever.
There's certain records you don't really want.
No.
But the Galaxy up their goal differential from -23 to -21, which put RSL at -9, tied
Anything
with
we can do to help.
Austin, who lost on the weekend to San Diego by 2, and we're tied with them for worst goal differential in the league.
Yeah, and Vancouver,
Second
like
worst, sorry.
like we were talking about, they played in the final, right?
Yeah, goal differential of Vancouver going into the weekend was 15, so positive 15 for MLS. Just beating up on MLS teams, and yet they went into the
At home, too, right?
final. No, I think it was in Mexico, wasn't it?
Maybe.
Was it leagues?
The
No, it's the
CONCACAF.
Oh, the
CONCACAF
one, yeah.
final, and so
Yeah.
Cruz Azul is off to play with the big boys.
Well, and to be fair, Vancouver took it to a couple of other clubs. They took it to Tigres and somebody else,
Miami.
and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, two other Mexican teams too. So like, it wasn't a fluke that they were in the
No,
final.
no.
They're a really good team, but Berhalter was suspended for the final, and I hate that. I hate that they suspend players for finals for accumulation. I get it if you fly off and like punch somebody in the game before the final. Fine, suspended for the
And
final.
it's like 2 yellows, isn't it?
But it was stupid the way that Berhalter, who was in there because Gald was out hurt, and so they were down to their third string center midfielder.
That's
And
crazy.
he just got eaten up. Guy playing out of position, and then the final ends up like that instead of what it could have been. So
So one thing I wanted to talk about, too, RSL. I mentioned that I'm a little more pro Pablo this year than I have in the previous seasons. But I think with what's occurred with the front office, I think they're probably equally in trouble. But I don't think anybody's in trouble with the Millers. We'll see what they do. But I think the front office is a little more culpable right now for where RSL is than the coaching and the players.
well, I saw a couple of lists of people that were like, here are the last 18 signings for Real Salt Lake and their stats, and like.
It hasn't been great.
Well, it's because our team's really sucked lately. But also, like, guys that we brought in haven't produced anything. Arias Piol has 1 goal. Lachlan Brooke
Ooh,
has
who you
no
trying to
goal.
blame here, sir?
But it doesn't mean that they weren't a good buy at the time.
Oh, I see where
You
you're
know what I
going with
mean?
this, yeah.
I'm not blaming anyone,
Right.
but collectively, that has to be put together. Pablo has to want the guy, and Kurt has to go get the guy, and I mean, and their respective people as well. But yeah, like they really haven't hit, and it's because they built this team around Chicho.
That's true. That's true.
We built the team around Chicho, so if
Well,
we have a
how did we
strong
do that?
center forward,
Other than just our DP, how did we actually build it around Chicho? Like, who are the pieces that were meant to be here? Because I don't remember really, other than Diogo being a piece for Chicho.
Well, I think what happened, they bring in Chicho. You had Andres Gomez here. And so you had it was more like Chicho came in and was the missing piece for the club because you had Diego Luna coming on. You had Andres Gomez. They brought in Mark Chuk as well.
You had Matt Crooks.
Matt Crooks is a huge loss, right? It's one thing to lose Chicho, but losing Matt Crooks, that veteran presence, that one thing that RSL is missing more than anything this season is intangibles. Right?
Yes, intangibles. No, it's true. I was just thinking, like, Brooks was one of those unsung heroes that we had last year.
Crooks?
Oh, yeah, Crooks, sorry. He was one of those unsung heroes that we had where, he didn't put anything really in the stats on the computer, but on the field, he was a humongous presence, not only in his stature, but in his play. And really, it's kind of funny that, like, now we're kind of in the same boat without him. Like, he was actually really good compared to what we have.
Yeah. Well, we lost 42 goals with Anderson Julio, who we did get.
but that's our own fault.
But
Yeah.
those
That-
numbers are massaged. You know
Right,
what I mean?
but also Anderson Julio, that's where I think the front office fell down. They shouldn't have traded him. I love Sam, and I love his trajectory, and over time, that's a better trade. But that trade, along with what happened to Chicho, Crooks leaving,
Wait, did Chicho
it all
happen
fell
after that
apart.
trade?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So they should have had their pulse on that a little bit better and known Chicho's going to want out. And if they knew Chicho wanted out, they shouldn't have traded Julio, but they had already traded him. So, and Sam's good, and I think he'll be better over the next couple of years. But dang, if that didn't just cascade into we just sold everybody except Luna that scored any significant goals for us last year, and that pissed the fan base off. And you have every right to be pissed, but it was kind of a domino effect, and it's a mess.
And I've heard Kurt say that, we knew that Chicho was going to go. Well, then why did you trade Julio if you knew Chicho was going? So,
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But there's also the big trade that we were supposed to get previously. Like, we're kind of striking out on the things we're...
Boa Vista, right?
Yeah, the
With all
Boa Vista
that.
thing. Like,
And Elias Manuel, who...
well, I don't understand
I
that
still don't think
because
he was that great of a player. I mean,
No.
he was decent, but
it was kind of like Forrester or Jago coming over here. Like, not
Yeah,
really
like-
that big of a deal. And it was more like,
I think
What can he
Manuel,
do?
they were thinking he was more like a Andres Gomez, like a replacement for there.
Really?
He's 23. I think he was going to be a U22 DP. I mean, I think they had really high hopes for him, but he wanted more money, and supposedly they all agreed. That's what the story is. They all agreed, and then he's like, no, like in other places, when you get a new contract, you get to renegotiate it if you get sent to another team, and they're like, oh, we bought your contract, and
yeah,
You're here now. And
you're here now. And he says, well, have fun with that. And off he went to Botafogo, I think it was, in Brazil. And then Boa Vista, that one, everyone knows that's Boa Vista. It's no secret that they don't pay clubs that,
the transfer fees.
yeah, they still owe FC Dallas money.
Yeah, like
That's
$4
crazy.
million.
And-
Or something.
how do they do that? How do they postpone that?
They just don't pay.
Well, they're like, yeah, it's coming. Yeah, okay, we agreed to terms. Okay, great. That $4 million. Oh, didn't you get the check for that? It's in the mail, dude. It's in the mail.
So that is a little bit where maybe the front office is reading the headlines a little bit too much and like, hey, we really get the best deals. We buy low and sell high, and it kind of bit them this time. But who knows? Maybe that Robert, Schmid, he's out of contract, and I think Kurt Schmid had a little bit of a sparkle in his eye talking about he might be back. as soon as his contract is up, he can. He might be back. He was a DP signing. He was going to be our second DP, Robert Bozanik. So maybe he's the guy, or maybe
he's not. Right,
he's moving on to greener pastures.
Maybe he has a different offer because he's a free transfer now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And maybe he doesn't want to come to a team that is at the
losing
bottom
his
of the table. But that also means opportunity to play, right?
That's
you
right.
Get in there and they're going to count on you.
And honestly, I thought with the World Cup being here in 26, that would get a couple of names come over from Europe, maybe just a year earlier too, right? Like because they want to be here for the World Cup and experience that in the States. And I just thought we'd get something going. Maybe not Ronaldo style or
Maybe like a Kevin De Bruyne, something like that.
Well,
on a
he's
very
going.
good day, right?
not.
Where's he headed?
They were rumoring he was going to go to Chicago, but then he signed somewhere else.
Oh, did he sign somewhere
Where
else?
did he sign? Napoli.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Italy. He ended up at.
Same with McTominay from Man United, who's balling out right now, and he also won MVP of the month or something like that. It's just another good Man United player. Just another one.
So
That can't put it together on.
He put
on
it together.
Man United, but
He put it
can
together.
somewhere else.
Okay, it just shows how great Man United is.
Did you see how Anthony made the final?
Yeah, and
How'd
did you
you
see
feel
him not
about that?
not contribute? Really, that was a terrible game.
The game before he did well though,
Yeah, dude.
how'd you like to be Mbappe, right?
right?
What? You guys? What?
I know, and PSG's
What?
humongous, man.
And they're
But
like,
also,
"You can't win
He
with
had
me."
Messi on his team. He had Neymar, or is it Neymar on
Yeah,
there? Yeah,
Messi,
like
Neymar, and
dude,
Mbappe couldn't
Mbappe's
win
the
it.
problem, bro. Like, if you have the greatest of all time with another dude who's almost the greatest of all time, kind of like a Kobe and Allen Iverson kind of deal, man, I don't know what you're doing.
Well, see that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have to get every single player. We just have to have really good players that want to play together, that want to be here. And if we can get that, I'd way rather see that. Like with our youth right now, the youth movement, way rather see that than buying overpriced players that think they're the amazing. Like
Yeah, I'll be curious to see.
I don't like Mbappe, honestly.
Well, I'll be curious to see what happens with this RSL roster. Like we talked about, let's look at their schedule. So this is a big opportunity for RSL to either turn things around or to figure out, this is just who we are. To quote that, they are who they thought they were. Dennis, what's his name from Minnesota? That famous quote when they lost. So the next home game is June 14th. RSL hosts DC United, who is not having a great year. I guess almost everybody's having a better year than us. And then LAFC at home on June 25th. And then off on a Wednesday to Sporting Kansas City. And then back home July 5th for St. Louis. We have 4 Saturdays in July, all home games. St. Louis at home July 5th. July 12th, Houston Dynamo. July 16th, they're at Portland. That's a Sunday. That's a Wednesday game. And then back home on Saturday against Cincinnati, who is obviously having another great season. And then home to July 26th to San Jose, and we owe them quite a few goals. And then they jump into the League's Cup, and all 3 games are in Salt Lake, I believe, right? The Club America, I have to double check. I don't think they go to Club America.
No, they're all here.
They're all here. Club America, July 30th, San Luis, August 2nd, and then August 6th, Querétaro. Querétaro. I can hardly ever say that one.
It's a hard one.
So just a big opportunity to see what RSL is made of, or who knows what the Millers
Maybe
are
we'll
going to
just
do.
get smoked by 3 Mexican teams.
And we can't, even if we get someone in this summer window, we can't use them until the 25th of July or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's when it opens.
Yeah. So
Well, I think you have to. Can they?
They
I guess
can
when it's
purchase them.
open, you can buy them before. You can work
Yeah.
with them before, especially if they're out of contract.
yeah, but you just can't use them on the field until
Until
the 25th.
until the window opens.
Yeah.
So that is a huge opportunity for RSL to
Train.
rocket up the table with all these games at home, or like we said, that maybe it's just who they are. I wonder what when the Millers would pull the pull the trigger on either extending Pablo Mastroeni or figuring out, hey, you know what, we're going to go another direction.
That's a huge decision. That's very big, especially with his ability that he's shown this year.
Yeah, and I really love Pablo as a coach. I think philosophically he's there, and I think managerially he's probably there. My concern is, and I don't even know if this plays way more of a deal than I think most people think it does, but his family's not here. Right? His family's still in Colorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I think
He has like teenage kids, and they don't
I
leave
think
high
they
school
might be
and
heading
stuff.
this way.
Could be.
So
That'd be good.
I don't know anything other than that because I brought this up with some people at Real Salt Lake. I said, "Isn't his family back in Denver?" And like you said, he has some younger kids, and he goes
He
back and
mentioned
forth,
that.
and they spend a lot of time coming here. But I think maybe it'll just depend on if they get extended. But it sounded like the plan was just for his family to come, so that may not be the issue that moving forward.
Yeah. Cool.
So
That'd be good.
I'm really interested to see, by end of the July where this club is at. Could be curtains for everyone, and just like that's it. Shut it down, play the kids.
Cut all the veterans and play the kids. Wait, that's what they did with the Jazz.
Yeah, because we were tanking for a better draft pick.
And they still didn't do it. Wow. Good job, Jazz. Way to go, Ryan Smith. I'd like a feedback form. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel like the Jazz sucked this year? 10. 10 sucked.
Yeah, well, and then the NBA, that's
a different
That's a different deal. Totally, yeah.
They've got they're trying to get rid of tanking.
Yeah.
And so they make it so the odds are not in your favor if you tank. But we can talk about which one is more on the up and up, MLS or NBA, and we'd be here all night.
Nope. MLS. It's easy.
MLS.
Done. See? End of discussion.
Sure. So anyway, any last thoughts? Everybody's in preseason mode across the pond for EFL.
Yeah.
Nothing to
going on there.
report. Like we did say, we have a great interview with Jake Hatch.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
That's going to be coming up to help get you through these tough 2 weeks of the international break. We'll be supporting our main guy, Diego Luna, as he plays in this is the Gold Cup, right?
Is it the Gold Cup?
When's the Gold Cup? I looked it up, and I think it's in June. I had to look it up again. But he's got international play, got called in, so be rooting on Diego Luna. And like we said, follow us on wherever you subscribe. Do us a big favor, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
June 14th. I looked it up for you. June 14th. I love when you ask questions that we don't know the answer to.
Well, I did look it up, and that's like, yeah.
That's my favorite. So, yeah, we play Mexico. Mexico plays Dominican Republic to start off on June 14th. Then all the games start on June 15th. USA plays Trinidad and Tobago. Don't forget Tobago. No one lives there. Why did they even bring it up? Anyway, Honduras plays Haiti. Saudi Arabia's in it for some reason, just because they paid to come play in it.
Well, they pay everything.
Remember when we had Qatar a couple of years ago?
That was so fun.
So dumb. Anyway, Curaçao was in it because they qualified like champs. El Salvador, Honduras, Canada, Jamaica, Guatemala. Did I already say Guadeloupe? Panama? Anyway,
Yeah.
carry on.
So, yeah, we'll be rooting on Diego Luna to make that team and really raise his stock for his transfer to wherever he's going, or just get a better contract here.
Yep. Well said, man.
But please follow us wherever we do social media, especially on
Wherever we do social media. Not where
We
you do.
Yep.
Where we are.
Yeah, follow us.
Insta.
Insta,
YouTube.
X, YouTube especially. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of great stuff on there. We've put up quite a bit of video and
There's some
content.
fun interactive things with you guys are really good at doing those interviews. They're fun. Go check them out on our YouTube channel.
And also, don't date your cousin.
No, yeah, kids at home, don't date your cousin. That wasn't invitation. It was a bad joke by Brent.
Yeah, it's just a bad joke the last 2 games of our RSL. So anyway,
Right? You
Thanks.
just followed it up.
well, thanks for listening.